All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye. I told you I'll be back really, really quick. And this time I brought a guest along with me. And I was just saying to Lynn before we went online that this is weird. It's kind of like a role reversal thing where I'm being the host and he's actually being the interviewee. So we're going to try and review this Crystal Palace game coming up on Monday. Why there's a feel-good element and, I figured what better way to do that by having a guest and having someone that's not been on before. So Liam's making his Gooner Eagle Eye debut. Say hello to the people, Liam.
Hello, my friends, and I have to admit, it is a bit of a kind of weird one for me. I do feel out my comfort zone right now, Chris, but I'm sure your expertise will tame me through this show. It, I've been the host for too many years on my channel, but yeah, no, let's give it a shot. I'm up for something new, but yeah, no, mentioning about the positivity around the club, hopefully that will spur us on to better results.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't know about expertise. The guys will tell you. Yeah, I think there is a feel good. I mean, I know lots of people are saying stuff like, "Oh, come on now, calm down. It was just West Ham." My point has always been, yeah, but was anyone, well, other than me apparently, was anyone that sure that we'd beat West Ham? We've been playing like dog shit lately, and at least now we've turned out a win. Is that not at least something to at least be a bit relieved? For the first time in a long time, almost looking forward to another game.
Yeah. No, I quite agree, Chris. I mean, I read a stat. I think it was like 53 days since we won a game or something like that. It's one of those ones really where I think incentive, motivation is going to be a bit lackluster in the team. Just for the matter of fact of there's not really much to go for in the league. I guess yes, the top four is becoming such a huge priority for now. But everyone wants to win the league when you're that high of a club, and if you're in the mix or if you're in the zone, it's exciting. The players will be buzzing. You might see a bit more thrilling game, but now it's just a bit dead weight. We've still got the FA Cup to look forward to, but we know Arsenal. We want to win the league so badly. It's just becoming unreal now. Well, of course, the FA Cup, take nothing away from it. It's the most prestigious cup in England. Maybe just behind the Premier League, but for the matter of the fact, it's still a good trophy to have on the record, and we want to try and take over Man United again. That's obviously not going to be easy. We've got City, and then it'll either be Chelsea or Spurs in the final if we win that. So, there's still targets, there's still objectives this season that I think we need to execute correctly, but for the time being, I think just to get a win and to see a more of a happier place is I wasn't even really caring where we were in the league. Just to see us get 3 points and a convincing win was something I was dreaming of for a while, and it was quite nice to see.
I second that. Yeah. What would you say is perhaps the most realistic, best possible finish for Arsenal? And I'm going to put realistic there because people in the chat are just going to dive in and say, no, don't do that. Realistic, but best possible.
No, well, I was thinking first place, Chris. What about you? No.
If only.
We can dream. No, I mean, I still think realistically, fourth is there. I said to you yesterday, Chris, I think we've got the caliber, we've got the experience, we've got a manager who flipping it's in his CV just to finish fourth every year. And results went our way. City lost, Liverpool, drew. Points are in our favour. We've got games. I think we've got 2 games in hand over Liverpool. I think we've got a game in hand over City. Yes, we need to win those big time. I think, isn't it Leicester and Sunderland, I think, off the top of my head. So they're winnable games by all means. But like I say, it's Arsenal, and you never know what's going to pull out the bag. But if I had to choose a realistic target, yeah, I think Arsenal can finish 4th this season. If yesterday we lost and wins went the other way, then I wouldn't be so confident, personally.
It's almost like a dirty phrase to say Arsenal can finish 4th now. Because yes, and I was even saying it on your show. If you guys haven't watched it, go and watch it on Gooner News TV. And I was saying that, you know, for me, yes, of course, you don't want to be fighting over fourth, but we are where we are. It is what it is. And I'm not going to suddenly stop supporting Arsenal because we're not first place. That's kind of not what I do. You know, I see lots of people saying stuff like, "Oh, you know, I don't even want us to finish in the top 4 places because, you know, it means Wenger will get a contract." I've got news for you. That man is signing that contract. I am complete, and I even saw a story today which will break Colin's heart a little bit, but about
Allegri.
about Allegri, who basically said that he wants to stay at Juventus for the time being and help them continue their success. I think for me that does smack of someone who knows that the Arsenal job isn't available, and I think that's probably why he's come out with that. Because if you're in this position, you don't want the fans thinking, "Oh, so we're second best because you couldn't get the Arsenal job." I think if Arsenal came calling, he'd go. I do, to be fair to Colin, think that it is a big job. Listen, take nothing away from the way we're finishing the season now. Let's not get it twisted, people. Arsenal's one of the biggest jobs in the world. Managers will be crawling out, will be trying to get out of their contracts just to get the job. So I honestly believe that that is the case. But unfortunately, on the flip side of that, that means that Wenger is probably going to be set to stay. The only positive, and I use that word very loosely about Wenger potentially staying, is it looks as though change is coming. Looks as though, because we know at this borderline, they like talking and not really following through. They like making false promises. But it looks like there's going to be a structural change. It looks like there's potentially going to be a director of football. Oh, please, God, let there be a director of football. These are things that are well overdue. For me, they're like 10 years overdue. But better late than never. Let's just bring them on. Bring them on, and let's see if Wenger stays on for another year, whatever. Let's just get on with it. I wish they'd tell us and come out with it, but we just have to deal with it. And I know that will make a lot of people pissed off. But again, it's about dealing with the situation for me. We are where we are. What do you reckon?
No, I definitely agree. I think, you know, if Arsene Wenger, which is now looking more likely to happen, I don't particularly agree with it. I think this is the season to go. But I support Arsenal Football Club. Whatever the decision, whether I really disagree with it, and I disagree with a lot that Gazidis and Kroenke and Wenger do to some degrees, I will still pay hundreds of pounds to go watch my club. I will pay hundreds of pounds to go here. That's what I do because I love the club. And I would never support anyone different or, you know, if we was in League One for crying out loud and Wenger was to sign next year, I'd still go. Because, you know, that is what it is. You know, you can protest, you can this and that to the extreme, but you know, you don't stop. You know, people. You know, we were mentioning about yesterday, Chris. Oh, I don't want to get top 4 because that might be the realization that for Arsene Wenger to finally leave and get out of our club. I'm like, dude, this guy's gave 20 years of service. Yeah, and people say, oh, he's paid £8 million a year. He's like got to respect for what he's done through the times. And look, like I say, you want him to go, I want him to go. But if it is the case of an extra 2 years, we deal with it and we work with it, and you know, we try and work with the best of the situation we got. And it was a good example you mentioned yesterday, Chris. If we got Barcelona, we probably know we're going to get thumped, and we usually do. In the back of our head, but we're not going to think that. We're always going to think positive and think we can do them over. And on the odd occasion, when we do beat like Real Madrid away, it feels 100 times better. You know, the good times of, you know, but it, you know, it's the positivity I think this club needs, and I think we're kind of like an emotional roller coaster. I mean, our football club. I think it's you know, we are. If you had to like look at different football clubs and try and put like a kind of mood on them, we're probably like the bipolar of Arsenal. You know, our emotions are up and down, and you know, it is that kind of scenario. We start well, we're all happy, we're cheerful, and then we get to the end and it's like distraught fighting, and you know, but why fight? You know, You know, it's, you know, why put violence on your own supporters? You know, that's the thing that annoys me. It's flipping. You know, I might understand if it's Arsenal Spurs fans, if it's Arsenal, be Arsenal fans. I'm like,
for me, it's up there. It's up there alongside booing your players, your own players. For me, you shouldn't be turning against your own people. That's the way I see it. Like, to me, the mentality of that doesn't make sense. If you're listen, I'm not sitting here condoning violence. Don't get me wrong, but if you're fighting an opposite fan, one can begin to understand you have that much passion for your club that it just drives you probably over the line. But what must you be thinking to think, well, we support the same team, but fuck it, I'm going to hit you. That to me is insane. That's insane. And ultimately, what for? Because one person has a different opinion to another. I don't get that. To me, that for me, it's one of the fundamental things wrong with our fan base at the moment. That is beyond a simple split of Bennett in, Bennett out. There's people who are very vocal, who are front and center, and they have their opinion. And then there are people who have their opinion that might be similar to the front and center people, but they don't quite feel brave enough to express it. And then you have people who are passionately Vanettians. And then you have people who, quite frankly, are just indifferent and they just want to watch the game. And fair play to those people. It's ridiculous. It's the only kind of crap that can happen in our club. That to me is just crazy.
It is, Chris, and I think, you know, as much that we both love football very, very much, but I wouldn't punch another human being, you know, over football. You look at stuff going on in Syria, and you look at, you know, terrorist attacks around the world, and it does all put it in perspective, you know. And there's middle-aged men, you know, lumping, you know, but three bells out of each other. It's not on, and I think look, everybody at the end of the day is entitled to a opinion. If DT wants to stand outside the director's box and shout Wenger out on a microphone, let him be. You know, if that guy over there wants to hold a massive 20-foot banner, Wenger, we love you, Wenger in, Wenger, I want you to stay for another 50 years, let him do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's why, you know, I think yes, there are others who look for it, and I think others want to be the face of it, but that, you know, whatever. Just get on with your day. Go watch a football match. Ignore it if you don't like it. Don't like Arsenal fans if you don't watch it.
Exactly.
You know, it's very easy to do. You know, you close the lid on your laptop, and you know, and people say, "Oh, it's hard to get away from it." What do you mean it's hard to get away from it? If you search Arsenal fan TV, it's going to come up. If you see sites posted Arsenal fan TV, you don't like it, block it. Then, you know, it's, I don't know, man. It's petty.
Yeah, but those will also be the same people who complain about spoilers on the internet. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, so why, if you know that's going to happen, why would you insist on going on things like Facebook, Twitter, things like that, which you know are going to ruin it for you? Like the other day, right? A little fun fact about me. I like watching MasterChef. I'll be honest, right? And I had it recorded in my Sky Plus box. I deliberately didn't want it spoiled for me. And like an idiot, I went on Twitter. And I saw it trending. And it kind of spoiled what kind of happened in it. I'm not going to bitch about it because it was my fault. I shouldn't have gone on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? But it's that same type of mentality. It's like, well, so who is making you go on YouTube then? You can't get away from it. Don't go on YouTube. Yeah. Don't go on Twitter. What's the problem?
The thing about it, Chris, you bring back memories of when I said, "Oh, just coming to the end of watching Prison Break," and then the guy told me that the guy dies at the end. I'm like, yeah. You know, I wanted to hurl abuse to that guy, but I was thinking, I was an idiot for tweeting. I was watching it, so probably my fault. So we've been there, we've done that. But it's very easy to get away from it. I think it's we've all been in that scenario before. But yeah, I mean, let's move on with positivity. I think, you know, Palace away, not easy game. You know, they're trying to stay up. Big Sam's a good manager of doing that, but we got good results there last time. You know, 2-1, and remember Giroud scoring or whatever it was. But we can get results. We can get results. But I think Arsenal and the players especially rely on a lot of positivity, fan morale, big boosts. You know, some people saying stop the Wenger out protests. Look, people say, oh, it's affecting the team. Some are saying who were for the Wenger out protest and are saying time to step back. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a logic. I think the board have definitely assessed the situation, have got the message very clearly. But then it still goes back to the point. If DC and co want to do a Wenger out protest, let them. If you want to do a Wenger in protest, you go do that. It's freedom of speech. I think there's a time and a place sometimes, but
I agree with that.
By the law, you can say what you want to a certain degree.
So, like you say, taking the positives, I guess, going into Palace, what do you think were the 3 positives out of yesterday's game?
A good win. I think that's the first one. A good win, and not just a scrappy 1-0 or just about ball draw or the first half went great, but the second half we turned into the Arsenal that I want to see week in week out. I think 2 players who worked well yesterday were El Neni and Xhaka. I think they both complemented themselves very well. In terms of the kind of communication, Xhaka getting forward a bit, El Neni, a bit fast paced getting up the pitch. There were elements of that which I did quite like. So maybe something to think of. One another man, Martinez, fair play to him, good shout, good keeper. You wouldn't necessarily think he'd be on the lips, of most Arsenal fans saying, give him a shout, give him. But many are talking about it today. So I think, overall good win. It's good to see the fans kind of, getting on with each other, especially on Twitter. I saw about good stuff. I'm just going to quickly turn off my camera, Chris, because I need to put on my charge to this laptop. So I'll hand it back to you. I'll be 2 seconds. I don't want to leave you, but you need to put this laptop in charge.
Go ahead. So for me, I would also take out my 3 positives. I would say is the clean sheet. I think for Martinez's confidence, but as well as the defense, I thought Gabriel and Mustafi, who someone I've criticised a lot, stepped right up yesterday. I thought they played very well. Handled Carroll. Carroll had to go to the wings to try and get the ball, which is always where you want to see Carroll. You don't want to see Carroll anywhere near our goal. So I thought that was a really big positive. Second positive was, like you just said, I thought the El Nene Xhaka experiment worked. I just literally said it on my review that I felt like El Nene probably has about 20% less intensity than Coquelin, but what he lacks in intensity, he makes up for in football intelligence. I think he's a much intelligent player than Coquelin. I think he's much more capable, understands the game, very good at reading the game. And if you wanted evidence of that, you just watch yesterday's game. Every time Xhaka went forward, he dropped off. He kept that shape. And I never see Coquelin do that these days. In fact, that's one of my biggest criticisms of Coquelin. Sometimes he'll go galloping forward when Xhaka's already forward. And you're thinking, and where are you going? So I really liked that combination. And probably my third positive has to be Mr. Ozil. It looks like Cheeky Sports fundraising. They managed to find him, managed to locate him. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. So those are my 3 positives. And I think going into the Palace game, let's have it right. I actually agree with Duty's comments on his on the review that he did for Robbie on Arsenal Fan TV, where he said that Palace will be a more difficult game. I think, although Palace, I think, are slightly lower than West Ham, they are playing a lot better than West Ham. I thought they were unlucky yesterday. They had a horrible decision go against them yesterday. That probably messed up their momentum. This is the same team that beat Chelsea this past weekend, at home, no less. So they are a capable team. I don't know why Palace are where they are, really, because if you look at their squad, they have a few decent players. players that can bother us aerially as well. When you look at Benteke, I think they present a different type of problem, and a problem on an awkward, small, cramped pitch. I know you were saying this yesterday on your review of yesterday's game. What do you think going into the game against Palace?
I think, like I say, yeah, Crystal Palace and Big Sam, it's funny, I was probably one of the very few England fans who was quite gutted when Big Sam got the sack. I think, he comes with a different persona, and I think that's what I quite liked about him. He's not your typical manager. I think he went into the conference game after the Chelsea when they beat him away, and he was like, "Oh, you didn't expect that, did you?" And just having a bit of banter with the journalists as such, and it's just so Big Sam. I think it's just the fact of Palace have good players. They got Johan Gabay, who we were a team who were very much interested in that man. I still think he's got good talent today. And you got the likes of Wilfried Zaha, quick, pacey. They've got a good unit of a team, but I think it's defensively where their issues are. I think that's
going well for them.
Yeah. So I think. I don't know. Are they 16th? Did you say? Or
I think so. Don't quote me. I think I feel like they are. They're either 15th, they're either 16th or 14th. If they're 14th, that means they're above West Ham anyway. But they're definitely playing.
Yeah, they're
better.
16th. So there's still quite a big gap between. Well, a big gap. There's about 3 points in it. So it's not that big. If they can push for a win, then they'll be level West Ham. Then you're starting to think, okay, they're starting to get away from that gap. I still predict Sunderland and Borough are going to go down. I think Palace will stay up. So I think it's either going to be Hull or Swansea.
Both of them are playing well, though. Swansea and Hull, to be fair.
Yeah, Hull, their record at home is something crazy under their new manager. I think they're over his previous careers, he's practically won every game at home. It's going to be tight knit down there.
Since he came on board in the entire Premier League, he's got the 4th highest points after Chelsea, Everton, and someone else. It's crazy. I didn't even realize. He was doing that well with Hull. He's literally pushing that team up a hill right now. So, fair play to him.
Palace, they're a good sign. Selhurst Park's always quite a rowdy area. My dad does the photography for him because South East London's kind of my local area, where I live in London. So, Charlton and Crystal Palace are kind of my local team. So I know I've been to Selhurst Park a few times. It's a very old stadium, very tight knit, not very big. It's quite rough. So it's nothing fancy but it will be.
And then fans make a lot of noise.
Yeah, no, they've got their own little ultras in there. It's not Dortmund, but they got their little group. No, it will be tough. And like I say, I think they're missing Scott Dan. I think he's through a ligament injury, and obviously they're trying to get off the back of the defeat against Southampton, obviously. So they got Benteke, big aerial threat. He's not going to be easy to keep hold, and that does baffle me why they are in the position they are. Though I think Pardew did do quite a bit of damage anyway. But let's see how it goes. Like I said, I still think we can win. I still think we can get top 4. Like I said, is this been updated actually? Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, that was a bit of a scary moment then. I think BBC didn't update their page. We were sitting 6th still. I was like, what? Yeah. That gave me a heart attack. So we are 5th. 2 games in hand over Liverpool, like I say. 6 points from them and only 4 points from City. So it really is all to play for. Obviously, if we beat City, that would have helped a lot. But, Man City, no top 4, Pep Guardiola. That's what you expect. Or do you look at Liverpool being an attacking threat, but so weak at the back? You look at our team as a unit as a whole, when we get a bit of confidence, we can be a dominant force. So I think that is why I think now we will get top 4.
Put it this way. Whether I think we'll make it or not, I guess, is another question. But I think we can ask questions. I feel like we can close the gap. What I don't like is our finish to the season. So I'll be honest. I feel like the next couple of games, to be honest, even Leicester ain't the easiest game. It would have been a a couple of months ago.
Mm.
But now all of a sudden they've decided they're a champion. They're the champions, so they're going to play like the champions. So even that game scares me a little bit. But I feel like if we could just take one game at a time. So Palace is the next game. Palace will present its own difficulties, and I guess with that, what would be your 1 to 11? Like, what would you play against Palace?
Oh, it's a tough one, really. I mean, I would kind of, I think, keep it to what was the starting lineup for the West Ham game. I mean, I did quite like that. I don't know what your opinions were on it, but you know, the Welbeck up front, Ozil, Theo, Sanchez on the other wing, Xhaka, El Neni, and then the back four of obviously Gabriel, who's playing a lot better now, Mustafi, and then Monreal and Bellerin, Martinez in goal. I think that's, you know, I know it's away from home, but I think it was quite a good unit, and I think it worked really well. It took a while to kind of click into gear, and then I'd probably bring Giroud on for the impact sub, which, you know, we know he can come on to make the threat. I wouldn't start Giroud, maybe early on, but we'll see how Welbeck starts. But I'm pretty cool with the team that was played the other night. That would probably be my 11th. So
All right.
Say to your followers: Martinez, Monreal, Gabriel, Mustafi, Bellerin in the middle, Xhaka and Neni, and then Theo and Sanchez on the wings, Ozil, Cam, and then Welbeck up front.
My only 2 questions for people would be: do you leave Ox to not go in that middle? Which I know people love Ox in the middle. And my secondly, which is the one that I think I'm going to cause a lot of controversy with.
Oh no!
I'd start Giroud. I think it's going to be a physical game.
That's true. No,
it's going to be a game where we need a physical presence, just because it's going to be a small pitch. We might need to resort to long ball tactics, to crossing in the ball. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I might be tempted.
No, and fully right, Chris, to do that, because I think, I mean, as much as, you know, Giroud's a bargain, like 12 mil when he comes on, bangs goals in like that for West Ham when he wants to. I don't know. I mean, he has scored goals once again at Palace away numerous times, and he can get us out of trouble. For mainly the first part at the start of the season, he did. He was the reason we were kind of still in the mix.
Yeah.
So I think Giroud's a worthy shout by all means. I just think Welbeck's got the influence of pace to get out the back four. If we can start our first 20 minutes just getting at them like boom, 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 counter attack, then I think we can get early goals. If it starts going into the game 60th minute and nothing's really happening of that, then I'd get someone like Giroud. So I don't think, they got people like Hennessy at the back, and they're not particularly the best keepers. Their defense is fairly weak. Jedinak or whatever they're called. I don't really even know Crystal Palace's back four, but I know there's nothing make you go wow. So
we've got Liverpool's on loan defender Saka, which he's playing well for them. To be fair, he's playing well for them. But I also know from having a couple of Liverpool supporting friends that Saka isn't the greatest with physical presence, which is another reason why I would say stick Giroud up there. Also, he looked a bit moody when he scored his spectacular goal yesterday. Did you notice that? Didn't really celebrate. Almost like he's pissed off. Like, why am I even a sub? And
I think it was Martin Tyler who was in the commentary. He was like, well, mate, if you're going to carry on scoring goals like that off the bench, then you're probably going to stay on it and make that impact. And he's got a fair point. I mean, if your man's coming on doing that every 60th minute, then you're not really going to change it around. I think that is the issue. Half an hour, Giroud can give you a full 90 minutes in his mind and play like Messi, and usually gets a goal. It's just a funny one at the moment with Giroud. He's 12 million quid. He's a bargain, and he gets goals. And like I say, he saved us numerous times at points. It's just we know for a fact you're not our leading number one. You start 90 minutes, you ain't going to get Giroud.
Yeah.
Do I want him to stay and be our number 2 player to come on and make an impact? 110%, because he can.
Yeah.
But Giroud's thinking, well, I could maybe come down a little bit and play constantly every week. It depends what he wants it for. But
let me ask you a question then, because I thought about this today. It's something I wanted to ask you. There's a lot of stories at the moment saying that the Lacazette deal is more or less done. If Lacazette does come, does Giroud stay?
Does he? Sorry,
he doesn't start at the moment.
Sorry, did you say Giroud?
Yeah.
Well, there's no point us trying to get around it. We know there was contact last summer. Leon came out and said, you know, you ain't having him. Really, that was the fact. Or offer this X amount of money, which at the time Wenger ain't going to do that. He's not, you know, he's stubborn, man. He's not going to. You pay 30, I want 100. No, see you later. Good night. I think Wenger desperately wants him. I think last summer was a bit of a. Not sure. What do we do? Do we go for the plunge? Do we not? The future of Wenger, the kind of, do we go all out? Xhaka and Mustafi, and then he kind of went with Perez. Well, I actually think we'll leave this summer. I don't think he'll be an Arsenal player. I'm just getting the vibe that there's been a bit of, you know, I've spoken with my mate Chris who works for Goal.com, and he goes to all Wenger press conferences and stuff like that, and he just gets the vibe of something's just not clicking. And it's a shame because I saw him. I watched his debut against Forest in the Cup, and really good. You know, the way he moves about, and
Arsenal fans love him.
Yeah, you know, fans were shouting his name, Perez. You know, I think we love him. I think he's a good player, but 17 mil. It didn't give us the vibe that it was a panic buyer, which I think Danny Welbeck was.
Yes, I agree.
Because everyone was signing Falcao, and everyone was signing like Falcao, Di Maria, and you know, we were signing bloody no one. Then we got sloppy seconds of Danny Welbeck, and that's how I still kind of see it today. But you know, Welbeck's come fairly good. I still don't think he's prolific or he's world class, but he's a good striker. He's pacey. He can finish.
Funnily enough, two players who I don't think are Wenger bias, weirdly, are Welbeck and Perez. I don't think any of them are his bias, and I think the Welbeck one was pretty obvious. It wasn't his bias because the way he reacted to it. In fact, at one point, he initially reacted to it like he didn't know the deal was done.
Oh yeah, I remember. I think he was interviewed in the presser like a few days after. I think I remember seeing the video. He kind of looked to his secretary next to him like, "Oh, what's going on?" And it's like, "Oh, Welbeck, yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, really?" Because that is it. We've got thousands of scouts.
And I thought to myself, "Oh, okay. I see. This was not your idea," which is strange because you would think Welbeck is a tailor-made Wenger player. The man might not be the best finisher, but he'll give you everything else in terms of effort, in terms of running, in terms of energy. But yeah, it did not seem like his type of player. But he at least plays Welbeck every now and again. With Perez, he does not seem to like this guy. I mean, for the life of me, I don't understand why. I don't get it. I have no idea what the problem is. And I actually agree with you. I think there's a good chance he will leave, to be honest. So,
it's a shame.
What are your final thoughts of this game and prediction for the game?
I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. I don't think we will concede. I think we will have a strong victory there. I'm going to say goals from... Let's give a goal to Ozil again. I think he's going to get it. I think Sanchez might nick another. I think it'll be a very back-to-back game, but I think we will win comfortably.
I think it will be a tighter game than the West Ham game in terms of performance. I don't think it will be as fluent, particularly in the second half, as we were against West Ham. A lot of Arsenal fans are going to be pissed off at that news, but it's just my opinion. And I'm going for a Sanchez brace. That's what I'm going for. I also think it'll be 2-0. But it'll be a long game. I don't expect this one to be a particularly enjoyable one. So brace yourself, Gooners. It's going to be a long day. So, all right. Well, let's wrap things up. But before we finish, please let the guys know where they can find you because I keep talking about your channel. I'm not even sure I'm plugging it right, so give me a chance to plug it properly.
You can find me on the other side of the world. No, you can find me. Gooner News TV. If you don't know who I am, if you've not come across me on the old YouTube, yeah, it's basically kind of like this. Obviously, what me and Chris are doing now. We have a few more guests. Like Chris is a regular. Colin, we've got Tops on there as well. They're kind of like my expertise of guests. You know, my regulars who have good knowledge. Big fan base now. They're getting a big fan base out there. You know, it's like, Liam, don't get anyone else on but these three. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to start paying them soon.
We'll talk.
That's not going to happen on here though. This another time and place we can negotiate these transfer deals of kind of. But no, I'm looking forward to it. In all seriousness, you know, top 4 I would love still. I love traveling with friends and, you know, going to Champions League games. You can't beat it. Football with your mates and watching the best teams in the world. As much as we sometimes think, oh well, let's just get Wenger out if we don't get top 4, or even if it's Wenger stay, but might be a bit of realisation. I always want top 4. And that's it. I don't want to play on a Thursday night. I really don't. But yeah, it is what it is. You know, a win against Palace will really put us in a dominant, you know, position. I think. Let me just quickly check. I think we got who Liverpool got. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, obviously Liverpool, they got Stoke away, which I'd be very surprised if they pick up points. Then there's West Brom away, who we lost to. And then, you know, if we maybe get the games on hand, you're starting to rethink it again. So, you know, I think we'll be in a strong position. I think we're in a better position than what we were. You know, we needed to win big time. And anything but a win against West Ham would have been poor. So, confident, optimistic. And, yeah, you can check me out at Gooner News TV, at Liam P.O. Edwards 1 on Twitter. And thank you for having me on, Chris. It has been an honour.
Oh, pleasure. I'm glad you finally joined me on one of these things. Similarly to you guys, if you're watching for the first time, do hit that subscribe button, and you can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. Both of our Twitter things should or will be in the description below. So yeah, go and check that out. And yeah, guess we're out of here. So I'll leave you guys to it. I'll be back again probably on Sunday to do a special top 4 video. And check that out. I'll do an announcement on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know exactly when that drops. And until next time, catch you guys later. Take care from me and take care from Liam. There you go.
Ciao, Bella.
All right. Peace.